Who invented the song Baby Shark? On the surface level, it looked like a company called Pink Frog created the song about 5 years ago, and it became a viral phenomenon. Actually, it was much older than that. I guess it didn't matter because Pink Frog made it a hit again, and merchandising soon followed. My daughter has been begging for one of their big stuffed plushies. And because I'm a single mom trying my hardest to keep my kids entertained while stuck at home, of course I complied with that. It was easy enough to grab one from Amazon and get it shipped straight to my door. My daughter was immediately in love with it, taking it everywhere around the house and constantly squeezing it to hear the song play. I will admit there were quite a few long sighs involved as she did this about a dozen times. Any parent will tell you, yes, despite how catchy the tune is, it does get annoying after the 300th time. But I'm a patient mom. I figured that the stuffed animal would eventually just lose battery life, so I did my best to ignore it and go about my day as usual. When night came, I told her that Sharky would need to rest too, and surprisingly, she didn't put up a fight. I tugged at the tail to turn off the song, just like the instructions said, but nothing happened. It just kept doing the jingle. My daughter giggled and said, "Sharky must not want to go to sleep." "Well, even if that's true, you have a Zoom teacher meeting tomorrow, so I will have to make you go to sleep anyway," I told her. She pouted and I hummed the shark song, changing the lyrics to say, "Go to sleep, do 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 do, go to sleep, do 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 do, go to sleep, do 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 do." She giggled and laid down, asking me what I had planned to do with her stuffed shark. "I'll check the manual and get him to rest. Don't want to wear out the batteries," I promised as she turned over for bed. I took the stuffed animal to my bedroom and tried a few more times to squeeze the trigger to make the noise stop, but again, nothing seemed to work. My next troubleshooting solution was to see what people said to do online. It's probably just cheaply made, I told myself as I read a slew of bad reviews. Maybe I can just get her a new one. Or take the sound box out, I mumbled as I rubbed my sleepy eyes. In the background, I could hear the terrible song play over and over. Baby shark doo 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 doo, baby shark doo 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 doo, baby shark. Throw away doo 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 doo, throw away doo 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 doo, throw away. I turned toward the shark, thinking I had misheard and picked it up. Run away doo 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 doo, run away doo 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 doo, run away, the singing toy now said. I rolled my eyes and tossed it down, returning to my Google search. "I wish I could get away from you," I teased as I shut everything down for the night. "No escape, doo 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 doo, no escape, doo 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 doo, no escape," the toy responded. That made me stop and actually really pay attention to the next lyrics. "You'll be sorry, doo 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 doo, you'll be sorry, doo 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 doo, you'll be sorry," the shark said. "What the hell?" I said to myself, thinking I had lost my mind. I decided to go ahead and take the sound box out, thinking that this had to be my sleepy brain playing tricks with me. I went to the kitchen to get a knife as it kept singing, this time with normal lyrics, but much louder. "Well, sorry, Sharky, but some of us actually do need sleep," I said as I found a good knife and was about to cut at the stuffing when I heard my daughter make a squeal. "Mommy, what are you doing?" she said, snatching the stuffed animal away from me. "Sweetie, I just need to turn it off for the night. Don't worry, I won't hurt Sharky. We can get Grandma to sew him up. He's broken," I told her. "He is lying, doo 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 doo, he is lying, doo 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 doo, he is lying," the stuffed animal said. She glared at me and squeezed the toy harder. "You were trying to hurt her. You're a monster!" she screamed. "Sweetie, just give me the toy," I said with a sigh. "Run away, doo 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 doo, run away, doo 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 doo, run away," the toy instructed her, and to my surprise, she listened, running to her room and slamming the door closed. I sighed in frustration, following after her. "Open this door right now," I told her. "No! You will take Sharky away!" she screamed. "I promise I won't," I said, rolling my eyes and wishing I had never taught her how to lock doors. I didn't want to call the landlord to come this late and unlatch a door over a stupid stuffed toy. "Please, sweetie, it's late. Sharky needs sleep. So do you. Just open the door and I promise I won't hurt him. I will even let you sleep with him, okay?" I said with a long sigh. Judge me for my parental skills later, but I just wanted this ridiculous little tantrum to be over and get to bed. Promise? She squeaked. Yes, I pinky swear. She slowly unlatched the door, holding her toy so tight I thought she would make the stuffing burst out. I showed her my hands were empty and I wasn't going to hurt the annoying toy, and then obliged her by tucking her into bed. Go to sleep, do-do-do-do-do-do, go to sleep, do-do-do-do-do-do, go to sleep, I said, kissing her forehead. The toy seemed to mimic me, citing the final lyric. Safe at last, do-do-do-do-do-do, safe at last, do-do-do-do-do-do, safe at last. Then I went to bed too, hoping that the constant lyrics wouldn't keep her awake and resolving to handle the broken toy in the morning. I honestly didn't get much sleep myself though, too worried about how the strange toy was. Surely I wasn't the only one that had bizarre things said by their toy. I wanted to be rational, and so my sleep-deprived brain told me to go online and see if other people also cited any weird things happening around their toy. A few forums I found encouraged users to check out an apparently hidden website that told about secret messages in the lyrics. It sounded like a goofy conspiracy theory, like that one way back in my day about playing music backwards to hear the devil. Still, your brain convinces you to believe things at night, and I looked into it. The results were terrifying. Children self-harming because the toy told them to, or killing their pets, setting fire to their homes, being brainwashed to be slaves to the toy, to make their parents go to jail. It was enough to make me jump out of bed and decide that I needed to just get rid of the stuffed toy immediately. I could hear my daughter snoozing softly as I peeked into her room, surprised to find that the toy had finally gone silent. Maybe the batteries had died at long last. Still, I didn't want to take a risk and decided to go ahead and do the deed of tossing it out. I snuck over to her bedside and reached over to take the toy. Instinctively, I squeezed its tail, but no lyrics played. Sighing in relief, I started to leave the room and went to the kitchen to grab the knife. I had to be sure this was just some glitch in the system. As I opened the toy, I reached in to take out the electronics. Except it wasn't a sound box at all. It was a camera. My whole body froze as I realized that whoever owned this had been using it to spy on my daughter. I immediately tossed it into the garbage and then threw up. I took Sharky back to bed and tried to get some sleep, certain that the worst was over now that I had discovered what this sicko was doing. I messaged the manufacturer to warn them of how the toy was being exploited. Then somehow, despite all the weirdness of the night and the occasional garbled jingle from the garbage, I got to sleep. I was most worried about how to explain this to my daughter. She was already in love with this toy so much. But that worry never manifested, because when I got to her room to wake her up, I was mortified to see that my daughter was gone. In her place was a stuffed shark doll and a note. I checked the house first. The front door was wide open. Someone had broken in and kidnapped her. The same someone I was sure that had been monitoring us via the toy. Then, as my head spun and I tried not to panic, I read the note. "Squeeze me," it said. As my hands shook, I reached for the tail of the toy. Ran away, do-do-do-do-do-do, ran away, do-do-do-do-do-do, ran away. Won't come back, do-do-do-do-do-do, won't come back, do-do-do-do-do-do, won't come back. And one final jingle to taunt me as I tried to not sob. Mine at last, do-do-do-do-do-do, mine at last, do-do-do-do-do-do, mine at last. I'm a single dad who lives with my 7-year-old daughter I'll call Lana. She's a sucker for anything stuffed. She has a bunch of different stuffed dogs, cats, rabbits, you name it. But her absolute favorite was a fluffy pink teddy bear she got for her 5th birthday. She named him Mr. S. No clue what the S stands for. She carries around Mr. S everywhere she goes. Since the day she turned 5, you cannot catch her without it. Sometimes when my wife and I were together, we would have to sneak it from Lana in her sleep to wash it. She wouldn't break away from this bear, ever. But I started noticing something odd a month ago. My daughter would talk to her teddy bear. Yes, she's a child and children do this kinds of odd things. But she wouldn't talk to Mr. S in the way you would think. She would speak absolute gibberish and praise the bear as if it were God. My family isn't religious, but this was freaking me the fuck out. I didn't know what to think of the situation, but I let it be as she wasn't hurting anyone, including herself. This wasn't Lana's only quirk though. Recently she started collecting dead animals that she found outside. She wouldn't show them to me, instead trot them to her room and slip them to wherever she kept them. I'll find random skulls of animals around the house with an assortment of other bones scattered wherever they could be. I've asked her about it once, and she said he likes it when I bring him gifts, with a childlike chuckle. I didn't ask anything else. I passed it off like it was a normal kid thing to say. But as the title says, Mr. S has started to smell awful. I work at a landfill, and even I have never smelled anything so awful. I tried sneaking her teddy bear to wash it, but when I go into her room at night, I can't find it. Though somehow she always exits with her teddy bear in her arms. The smell is awful, unbearable, but I can't get rid of it. I've never smelled anything like it. If I had to describe it, it smells like rotten pig flesh, but even that smell isn't as unbelievably awful. I don't want to ask my girl about it because she may take it in a bad way. She's only 7, so why not let her keep some of her imagination? But the thing that freaks me out the most is something I found last night. For background, you'll have to understand the way my daughter's room is set up. Her bed is in a corner, and she has a giant rug in the middle of her room. It has sparkles and unicorns on it. Typical 7-year-old shit. Other than that, she has her toys in various parts of her room with a giant pile of her favorite plushies. Well, I was cleaning up around her room the other night, and while I was sweeping, one of the shoes to her doll swept under the rug. I lifted up the rug to grab it and decided to check for other miscellaneous toy bits. When I lift up the rug, I see a giant pentagram written in what looks to be red ink. I take a few steps back and stumble in fear. What the fuck is wrong with my daughter? Why the fuck would she have something like this? I go later that evening to pick up my daughter from my ex-wife's house. I see her perky and cuddling Mr. S in her arms. Her teddy is a bit pinker than last time I saw it, but I say nothing and plop her into my car. As we're backing up, she says, "Daddy, Daddy, I left Chewy inside." Chewy is the name of one of her plushies. Her mom's is standing in the doorway, so I allowed her to hop out of the car and go grab her plushie. I noticed she left Mr. S, so I pick him up to investigate. He was wet, and when I shook it, it made a rattling sound. A bit of what looked to be blood got on my hand as I put him down. My child is 7 years old. Why does one of her plushies have blood on it, and enough for it to be wet? She came back with her plushie and slipped into her booster seat. I wish I could say the rest of the drive was somewhat normal, but she started spewing gibberish at her teddy. I couldn't tell what she was saying, but it was praise. I took her home, plopped her in bed, and kissed her goodnight. A few hours later, when I came back to check on her before I headed to bed, Mr. S was gone. Not a trace in the world. Like he disappeared.